reject all the day long just so we can receive the blessing and then be a blessing. So it ain't, as Pastor also, it's not about us. It's not just about us. There's some people waiting on us to receive the blessing. But God did not promise us that it won't be a challenge. Amen? And so we got to get our vision correct. We got to, because again, many of us, we quit. Yo, this is too hard. And give up. It's a challenge and give up. I'm getting opposition and give up. And what he said, it's going to come. Just because, remember, your thought pattern has changed. Your thought process has changed. How you do what you do has changed because of your relationship with God. You don't think the same way you used to think. You don't do the things you used to do the way you used to do them because your relationship with Christ. And so the world is going to look at us strange when we do things because it's not going to mimic necessarily what the world is doing. And so the world will come and try to talk us out of it. And we miss our blessing. Because again, it's a daily choice. Who you going to choose? Who you going to serve? But he never said that. He had said in his word, we will face trials and tribulations. So for us to think otherwise, or for us to quit just because we see trial, for us to quit just because we see tribulation, you need to tell Satan to get thee behind you. Let the truth be known, and I've talked to some, let the truth be known, we have quit because we saw trial. We quit because we saw tribulation. And this is what Jesus is rebuking right here, because Peter can try to convince Jesus to believe that he'll be rejected. And once somebody gets you to believe that that's not the case, then you'll give up. Because you'll say, I don't need to deal with that. This is rejection. I don't need to deal with that. Well, you don't have to if you got Christ. You can go through it. If you ain't, you can deal with rejection just like he did. If you're anchor, you can deal with crucifixion. Why? To get to the blessing. To get to the end. To get to your destination. But again, many of us see trial and tribulation on the horizon and we quit because we don't understand that can be part of the strategy. Because let the truth be known, trial and tribulation make you stronger. And so if I go through trial and tribulation as I'm trying to get to the promise, then when I get to the promise, I'm going to be stronger. Amen? So isn't it strange that one minute Peter proclaimed Jesus to be Christ, and the next he was calling him aside to inform him that he was mistaken. If Jesus was truly the Christ, Peter had no business arguing with him, nor do we. And so for many of us, we try to argue with God as to the strategy that he chooses to use in our situation. And we're going to have to understand that trial and tribulation can be part of the deal. But number one, God has not given us the spirit of fear. Jesus has come and overcome them all situations. He's overcome anything that we go through. He has overcome them. And so with that understanding, if I'm in relationship with Jesus Christ, then I can also overcome. To get to the blessing, to get to the promise. Amen?
Amen.
So again, it says, let me read. It said he spake, and it said, whom do men say that I am? And they answered, who did they say he was? What were some of the opinions that they gave? Verse number 28. So who did people consider Jesus to be? John the Baptist, Elijah, one of the prophets, or all of the above? All of the above.
All of them.
All of them. Another question is, what did Peter confess regarding Jesus' identity? A, he was a great teacher. B, he was a sublime philosopher. C, he was the Christ. Or D, he was a prophet but not divine. A, B, C, or D. Who did Peter confess Jesus was? He was the Christ. Next question, how did Peter react to Jesus' announcement of his coming suffering? He took Jesus aside and began to what? Him.
Rebuke.
He took Jesus aside and began to what?
Rebuke.
He took Jesus
He's like, you ain't going
aside.
nowhere.
Well, he did.
He's like, you ain't suffering. You ain't going nowhere. You stuck here with us.
He said, don't leave me, Jesus. Don't leave. You ain't going nowhere.
I don't care what you say.
Yes, I don't care how bad you want me to stay here. Get thee behind me, Satan, because you in the flesh. Amen. He began to rebuke, or he began to argue with Jesus, argue with him. What did Jesus say was the reason Peter would not believe Jesus was going to die? Answer, he was not minding the things of who? Spiritual. Who? He wasn't minding the things of who? But the things of. So if he was minding, he was thinking about he wasn't thinking about who? When he made that statement. Peter was not thinking about the things of what? Christ, but the things of his flesh, of man. Amen. So again, that's basically what we were going to talk about tonight. I'm not going to push the next one, but again, we're looking at our defective spiritual vision and how we have to adjust this. In this particular case, we have to adjust our belief that we're not going to be challenged trying to get to the promise. That we're not going to be rejected by the world trying to get to the promise. That we're not going to be tried or crucified trying to get to the promise. But the good thing is the same thing that happened to Jesus, because he is our example. He rose. And not only did he rose, but